event grinding get to your head? Match quality down in the gutter? You know, screw playing with other people. How about some single player missions instead? Like the historical cat... Oh yeah, I already did those. I guess I tried. See you guys in another month. Bye. Right, jokes aside, we'll be playing some custom / user-made missions today. If you don't know what these are, they're basically various sorts of scenarios that are created by players using the content development kit. They can be multiplayer scenarios designed for clan special events, for example, or single-player scenarios, which are what we'll be trying out for this video. Installing these things is fairly simple. There's like a dozen different 5-minute tutorials on it, but we'll go over it in a minute. For single-player missions, all you need to do is download a mission of your choosing from live.warthunder.com/feed/missions. I'll just write that in text. Open it up in WinRAR or 7-zip or whatever else you've got, and take the folder named user missions to your game folder. If there's any additional folders in there like content, take those too. If the download only gives you a .blk file, put that in the user missions folder. You can create the folder yourself if it doesn't exist already. Boot up the game, hover over battles on the top left, and you'll find your installed missions right there. Multiplayer missions instead require you to create a custom mission lobby, create session, then missions by URL. At the bottom you'll see add mission. Paste the URL there and give it a name, and then you can play. No downloads are needed for any players. Some missions may provide instructions in the folder or in the post description. You can go off those if they're present. After that, you can pray that everything works as intended, because a lot of older missions don't. Today, I've picked up 6 different types of missions so that you can have a good look at what user missions have to offer, provided they all work properly. For our first mission, I've started off with what the mission author calls a trial mission. We get to control an OV-10 Bronco attack aircraft, a plane which by default does not exist in the game. The mission uses its own imported custom model. The author also says to play in arcade mode. At first glance, the model looks pretty neat. For weaponry, we have what appears to be a combination of 50 cal machine guns and 20mm gun pods, plus some Zuni and Hydro rockets for ground attack. After looking around for a bit, I take off swiftly and head to the objective. I quickly spot 3 bomber planes close by, move into attack. Well, we're off to a good start, it seems. At least now I'm aware of the ground targets, so let's take them out first. This may end up being harder than I thought, but I'm not giving up just yet. Change of tactics. This time, I go for the easy difficulty version. The mission maker has thankfully put in 3 different mission difficulties. And I swap to arcade battles, which is what the mission maker recommended in the first place. Good job, me. Since the SPA poses serious danger, I instead veer off to the right this time, heading for the shore. I take out some boats, staying low, and pick off ground targets whenever I can. Everything is going well until, lag. This mission is making my computer overheat due to the sheer number of enemy targets. They're also battling with some friendly units. I try to keep going, but eventually it's clear that I will not be able to finish this mission, so I have to concede defeat. A promising mission, but perhaps a bit too much going on. Let's go for something simpler next, something that won't turn my computer into a bomb. How about this? A training mission. These are pretty common amongst user missions, and they're a great use case for them. They're generally much better than the in-game test drive, at the bare minimum allowing you to test your weapons against a much larger variety of enemies than the test drive would. Some of them can even be played multiplayer if you want to host a training session with your friends or something. The mission I'm showcasing is made for CAS, rocket CAS specifically, but you can also find training missions for naval or ground. Plus, this mission has some pretty nice quality of life additions, allowing you to instantly reload your armaments and respawn targets on the go. You can even spawn enemies that will actively try to shoot you down. Of course, I personally am a genius CAS player, so I don't need any of this. Allow me to show you how it's done. For our third mission, I picked up a rather unique one. This one is a platforming mission inspired by the game Only Up. Where have I heard of that game before? It also apparently promoted NFTs? Whatever, let's move on to the actual mission. We start off at the bottom of a very large obstacle course, with our instructions simply being space to jump. And left click for a double jump. Sadly for everyone watching this video, I am terrible at platformers, especially when playing one that doesn't have any checkpoints.
Where am I going? Huh? What?
Still, after banging my head against the wall for a while, I eventually get the hang of the controls and start making some actual progress. I even managed some rather difficult jumps.
Fly again. Yes. No. No.
Everything is going alright until I encounter a dreaded half loop. My first attempt at surpassing this obstacle ends precariously. And the second seals my fate.
No! Oh. Do I respawn? Or does it just fail? Oh, it just spawns me back. I guess I get a chance?
Fun mission though, 10 out of 10. By the way, the person who made this mission has a whole lot more of these bizarre but unique creations, so I would highly recommend checking them out if you're interested. For the following mission, I've decided to change things up a little, and I've chosen a simple and linear ground-based mission. It's called the French Mouse. I spawn in, and I'm indeed in a mouse, alongside a bunch of French AMXs. According to the mission description, this is supposed to be during the Normandy landings. It seems historically accurate enough to me. There's a bunch of panthers and tigers shooting at me, so I deal with them first. My shells, though, they seem to be kinda... Are these BT-5 shells? Something is wrong, because I definitely should be able to pin those things frontally, and quite easily at that. I managed to take them down regardless, and proceed. A few more panthers appear. I deal with them promptly. But then I encounter a more threatening opponent.
Oh. Ow.
At least the respawns are quick, as there seems to be a script running that repairs and replenishes every time, alongside handling respawns once every 10 seconds or so. Still, I have absolutely no idea what's going on with this mission. I can't pen the MBTs frontally anywhere, so I shoot out the barrels instead, before taking them down from the sides and rear. Thankfully, they simply remain immobile. The abysmal speed of the mouse doesn't really help though. Well, I probably should have played the mission in arcade battles, so kind of my fault on that one.
There's more. Oh my god, he's right there.
Deal with those guys. And then immediately get my ass handed to me by a bunch of Ferdinands.
Oh, those are fucking Ferdinands. What the fuck, man?
Well, at least I can penetrate these guys frontally. And now, Sturmtigers?
That's a fucking Sturmtiger.
The AI doesn't seem to be handling them particularly well though. I just shoot the rocket inside their barrel and they explode. I finally meet my last opponent, German mice. I can't penetrate their armor, and there's a lot of them. Okay, I'll destroy the barrels and try the sides and rear. Unfortunately, that seems to be as far as I can get, because I can't penetrate these things from anywhere. I'm forced to resign once more. But no, we'll give the author a second chance. Well, mostly because Machine Gun Sturmtiger is quite the attractive title for a mission. I spawn in, and there's a million artillery shells landing around me, a flying ship, and then I die to an ice too. Right. Well, I assume you meet your match today, as 100 rockets shall turn you to dust once I get the aim right. I move on, amusing myself with the sheer firepower of the Machine Gun Sturmtiger as I slowly make my way through waves of enemy tanks.
There's no sound for this. Boy, it fires so fast it makes me recoil. It legitimately makes me recoil.
This mission doesn't seem to have the instant repair function like the previous one, but the respawns are quick enough, so I just J out instead to repair myself. I go from facing IS-2s to MBTs, but I am unstoppable.
Death. Well, if you shoot 500 rockets, you're bound to hit something.
At some point I get a bit lost, but manage to find my way back and come face to face with the final boss.
Pretty sure I went the wrong way. But whatever. Is it supposed to be the boss or something?
Dimitri? It's got a name apparently. Well, it's still a tank, so
Got him. I killed Dimitri. Oh, it's done! We did it! Yes, I've actually finished the mission.
Yep, great job me. We've actually completed at least one mission out of 5.
Oh, there we go.
We had a lot of explosive content in the last mission, so let's end the video on a similar note. Hence, I present to thee our final mission. Nuke Test.